Hello everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Mythic Plus. Now this week we have Fortified, which means that non-boss enemies will do more damage and have more HP, and in Battle for Azeroth, Fortified starts at a +2, and then we have Sanguine, which means that non-boss enemies will drop a pool on their death that damages players and heals enemies, and Necrotic, which means that melee attacks apply a healing debuff that reduces healing received. This does stack up and it drops with either going out of combat or after 9 seconds. Now the very last affix here is the seasonal affix, so this affix will be on every key for this season, and that is Infested. It does start at a +10, so everything below a +10 will not have this. Now what Infested is that some mobs will have a spawn of Gahun in them. This means that they have an 8-yard AoE heal around them, and when this mob goes down, spawns of Gahun will actually come out of this mob and run towards the closest living mob to infest them as well. Now tanks, this week you have to mind your Sanguine drops to keep moving past at a normal pace, so make sure you're dropping Sanguine off in the corners of the room, edges of hallways, or even behind you, as long as you don't block the road in front of you. Now if you do have a snare or a kite talent point this week, you are going to want to pick that up, and that is because once you get to about 15 plus stacks of Necrotic, that's when you want to throw down your snares and stuns and begin kiting the mobs so that your Necrotic actually falls off. Once your Necrotic falls off, get back into the fight, get 15 stacks again, and rinse and repeat. Something else to note this week is that you do want to be rotating your defensive cooldowns on trash. The trash pools have Fortified and Necrotic, so that means that the damage of the trash mobs is going to go up by a lot, so don't be afraid to use those defensives while you're pulling mobs. The bosses this week don't have anything particular about them that increases their damage besides the scaling of the dungeon, so do not be afraid to use your defensives on trash. And also, just as part of your kit this week, snares and stuns are amazing for Necrotic and against spawn of Gahun. When those spawns do come out, you do want to snare them, stun them, knock them back, anything you can do to stop them from infesting anyone else. DPS. Make sure you do not stand on any Sanguine pools this week, and also you do want to help your tank kite if it is needed of you. So make sure you pick up AoE snares and stuns this week because it'll help your tank kite with Necrotic, and it'll also help counteract the spawns of Gahun if you are pushing that high. Now speaking of spawns of Gahun, when those spawns do come out, you do have to snare them, stun them, and nuke them down as quickly as possible before they spread over to the next pool. This week, you also want to use your DPS cooldowns on big trash pulls since the focus of this week is trash. Every single affix this week is affecting the trash, so make sure you take them down as quickly as possible. Healers, do not stand in any Sanguine pools. Also, you should be helping with knockbacks and snares if you can. And if you see your tank at greater than 15 stacks of Necrotic and still in the fight, you do want to be using damage reduction abilities. And the reason why is at 15 plus stacks, your heals are only half as effective, and the higher the stacks go, the less effect your heals will have. At that point, your damage reduction abilities like pain suppression and bark skin are going to be helping out a lot more. Also, if you can pick up any talents that are snares, stuns, or knockbacks, make sure to pick those up in order to counter the spawns of Gahun. And overall this week, the focus is on snares and stuns. This is both to counter Necrotic and Infested. So just make sure that Sanguine goes off in the corners and edges of the room and you'll be fine as long as you can also deal with Necrotic and the spawns. This week, the trash also deserves every single one of your cooldowns to focus them down and get them down as quickly as possible. So just remember, if you want the highest reward this week, get a +10 done for your next week weekly chest. And for in-dungeon rewards this week, the highest reward you can get from an end dungeon chest is from a +5. So get your +5s in this week with one +10, it doesn't matter if you meet the timer or not, in order to maximize all of your rewards. If you like my content, like what I do, want to help support the channel, go ahead and visit my Patreon down below. I do also stream every Wednesday and Friday here and on Twitch, so follow me on your favorite platform. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, good luck out there.